Yeah, I was reaching in my pocket because I felt my phone vibrating, and then I realized I was just farting. I wasn't actually getting a call. I walked out of my apartment, and someone had left underneath a tree this grocery bag full of jars of baby food with a note taped to it that said, "Baby food, new, fresh, very good." And I'm like, who do they think wants this? But then, like, as I was coming home several hours later, it was actually covered in babies. So I guess that's how you catch a baby, if you're looking to do that sort of thing. You know what? I used to be paraplegic with Down syndrome, and then I got off gluten. And, like, things really turned around for me after that. Over the years, as our population has grown fatter and fatter, the fat joke has really suffered. You know, because when something applies to 80% of the population, what good is it? It's like, your mom is as fat as my mom. Your girlfriend's so fat, I bet you just have sex with her anyway. What else are you gonna do? You're so fat, you're going to work and everybody's like, yeah, business as usual. I think it's really sad I don't have any cleavage. You know, not because I want really big boobs, just because I feel like my breasts, they don't really know each other that well. They spend all their time apart. Unless I lay in a particular position on my side, and then they're forced to interact. Hey, how's it going? So instead of twins, they're just like regular siblings who don't even look alike at all. The black one is so much bigger. I was at this packed show with my boyfriend. I came out of the bathroom, I was looking for him, and I found this guy that looked just like him. And he had his arm around a girl who looked just like me. So for a second, I was like, oh yeah, there we are. Wait a minute. It's not even possible. I'm sure you guys can tell from my accent that I'm vegan. You know, I think I'm gonna take it a step further though. I think I'm gonna go on a raw diet. It just seems like the right time to do it since my gas got shut off. It's the way to go. You know, in order to conserve water, you shouldn't flush the toilet every time you go to the bathroom. That's why people will say, if it's yellow, let it mellow. And then sometimes for me, it's like, if it's red, oh, thank God. You know, it's been that kind of month. So the guy who invented the first birth control pill, he predicts that by 2050, all women will just freeze their eggs and be sterilized. And so like every conception will just be a lab procedure. And it makes you wonder, like, what will writers do with a boring screenplay without surprise pregnancy to fall back on? You know, we'll just be stuck with a bunch of period pieces. I know. Gotta do a pun once in a while, you guys. It's just the way it is. You know, it's weird to think that there was a time when if kids acted out in school, you could just give them a good whack. You know, but now we're so much more civilized. We just give them speed. And seems to be working out really well. I was buying tickets for a show online, and when I went to check out, it said, lineup subject to change. Which pretty much means like what I'm buying could be completely different by the time I get it. That would be like if you go to a store and you buy a coat, and you get home and open the bag, and it's bees. How is that gonna keep me warm? It's not really what I signed up for. I went by the sperm bank earlier. You know, I'm not trying to have a kid. I just like to have a sample of decoy semen on me in case I want to commit a crime. You know, like I might dine and ditch later, and I'm gonna leave that DNA right up on the table. They will never trace it back to me. I'm worried that girls might be a little more gullible than guys. You know, I've never had a guy friend say to me, I went to my psychic today. I've only ever had a girl say that to me. And you know, I don't need a psychic. I have a therapist, and a life coach, and a shaman. And you know, once in a while, we all get together and we beat up a psychic. And what's weird is they never see it coming. You would think they would figure it out. I was riding my bike and I found a finger on the ground. And everybody knows that's really good luck, right? It's like that song when you were a kid, find a finger on the ground, you will never wear a frown. Did you guys have that? Oh, that was just my family. I guess, well, we found a lot of fingers for some reason. You know, I was seeing a speech therapist for this slur that I have, and she told me it would actually just clear up on its own if I stopped drinking. I'll let you know if that works. I got arrested. So good news, not all cops are racist. When I was sitting there in the police station, the cop asked me if I'd been arrested before, and when I said no, he got kind of annoyed. He's like, well, that's too bad. This would go a lot faster if we had you in the system already. I've been breaking the law for 15 years, so whose fault is that? Then I had to go to court-ordered counseling, which involved sitting down with a teenager with no psychology degree whatsoever. And she asked me a series of inane questions. She's like, so anything you say, it will be confidential, just between you and me. Unless you're planning to harm yourself or someone else, and then I do have to report that. So let's get started. Were you thinking of murdering anyone? No. Were you thinking of killing yourself? No. But those were lies. I wanted to kill her and me. But I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna keep that to myself. A few years ago, I moved all the way across the country from Orange County to Chicago for my first high-paying corporate job as a data scientist. And it was great. I was making a ton of money. I had this great apartment with a view of the skyline. Like, I got laid off right away. That totally didn't last